So you have 20,000 Kenyan shillings or 150 US dollars. So for everything that I'll be saying in this video, for those people that are not in Kenya, make sure you divide the value with 130, so as you can get it in dollars, so as you can be able also to convert it into your local currency, so as you can understand what I'm talking about. This video, I'm going to ask you, if you have 20,000 Kenyan shillings or 150 US dollars, which kind of investment should you do? Should you invest your money in a money market fund, or should you invest your money in poultry farming? So I want you to be able to understand. If you are investing your money in money market fund, you can invest a lot of money. It has low risk, but also it has a very low return. So we want you to be able to start something and be able to use 20,000 Kenyan shillings, which is around only 150 US dollars. If you're investing it in a money market fund, how much money will you get at the end of 1 month? And if you're investing it in poultry farming, how much money will you get also after 1 month? So make sure that you follow around, so as you can be able to understand what I'll be talking about at the end of this video. So you're investing 20,000 Kenyan shillings in a money market fund. Let's say you are investing in this new market fund known as Safaricom, known as ZD money market fund, whereby you're investing your money, which as of yesterday, let's just put a standard interest rate of around, let's say 12% per annum. So you have invested your 20, let's do the mathematics. So you have invested your 20,000 Kenyan shillings. So you have invested 20,000 Kenyan shillings. You know how interest is calculated: principal times rate times time. So you have invested your 20,000 Kenyan shillings times the rate, which is 12%, 0.12, then times the time, which is for 1 year, that will be the amount that you will get in 1 year. It will be 2,400. That is if you are investing it for a whole year. And we want to get the amount that you will get in 1 month. So we will take that 2,400, that is for 12 months, divide it by around 12. I know most people will say that it is usually compounded each and every day, but we're just trying to get an estimate, an around estimate. So you'll get an estimate of around 200 Kenyan shillings at the end of 1 month. After you have invested 20,000 Kenyan shillings, you have invested 20,000 Kenyan shillings, you're only getting 200 Kenyan shillings per month in a money market fund. Even if we say you are compounding it each and every day, even at the end of the year, let's put it, let me add some money on top there. Let me say you have added 300 on top. Now you are getting 500 after only 1 month. You have invested 20,000, you are getting only 500 after 1 month. Now let's say you have invested in the poultry sector. For example, you want to put that 20,000 Kenyan shillings as an investment, so as you can enable you to get a lot of money at the end of the game. So you're making how much money if you have invested 20,000 Kenyan shillings? Let's do the math. So if you have invested 20,000 Kenyan shillings, I want just to do a simple math. 20,000 Kenyan shillings, that 20,000 Kenyan shillings, this hand has become so tired. 20,000 Kenyan shillings, you'll be able to purchase 100-day-old chicks. That is 100 times 100, which is the selling price. That is 10,000 Kenyan shillings. Then you'll be able to purchase 2 drinkers, because you know for every 50 chicks you need 1 drinker. That will be 450 times 2, which is 900 Kenyan shillings. Then we go for the feeders. For every, I think, let me stand here a bit because the sun is really beaming down. For the feeders, you need 4 feeders, because as we know, 2 feeders are able to feed, 1 feeder goes to 25 chicks. So 4 feeders for 100 chicks. So that is it. Then we go for the multivitamins and the vaccines. I have put a total of 1,200 Kenyan shillings. Then we go to the chick mash. You need 1.5 bags of 50 kg. That is 5,700 Kenyan shillings. A bag goes at 3,800 Kenyan shillings. That is if you are purchasing from the aggregate, but if you are making on your own, you'll get it as cheap even as 4,500. The wood shavings, you only need 1 sack, or even 1 sack, yes, you'll only need 1 sack, which is 50 Kenyan shillings. The plywood, you'll need 1, which is 400 Kenyan shillings. And the electricity, 500 Kenyan shillings. So at the end of the day, you would have spent 20,150 Kenyan shillings. That's around 150 US dollars. And I've said, for anybody that is not in Kenya, make sure that you take that number and divide it by 129 or 130, so as it can be converted to dollars. Then you can enable you to convert it back to your local currency. Then after 1 month, after you've raised those kinds of birds, why have I said 1 month and you have raised only 20 by use of 20,000 and only 100 chicken? Because when you start with 100 chicken, you can enable you to be able to manage them very, very well, and it will be an easy part on your side. You won't be able to struggle, and you'll be able to get a lot of money out of it. So after you have spent the 20,000 Kenyan shillings, you'll only lose. For example, for the 100, you'll get 102 chicks. And for the 102 chicks, you can manage to lose only 7 if you're purchasing the chicks from me. That's what I'm saying. If you're purchasing the chicks from me, the maximum that you can lose, with the proper management that I would have told you, you'll only be able to lose around 7 chicks maximum. So you're saying as the chicks have reached 1 month of age, now you're selling each chick at, they are 95 in number, and you're selling each chick at 320 Kenyan shillings. That is 30,400 Kenyan shillings. Meaning, in a span of 1 month, you will have already made 10,000 Kenyan shillings. Let's put some errors. Maybe you are still young, you are struggling with finding the market. Let's put an error. And we have decided that maybe you'll have an error. I am going to put a very huge error of you having a loss or something else, or something happening. Let me put an error of around 30%. Out of the 10,250 Kenyan shillings as profit, let me put around 30%. So that means that you will get around 7,000 Kenyan shillings as profit, as a minimum. Even let's say 5,000. You have invested 20,000 Kenyan shillings. You are getting a profit of even 5,000. But you have invested in your money market fund. You are saying you're not doing anything. You're only sitting, but you're wasting your time. Each and every day we age. If you're aging each and every day, and you are thinking that you'll be able to recoup that money maybe later on in life, it is very, very hard. So as you can see, so if you're able to do that, then you get 5,000 Kenyan shillings as profit. I've said, if you're not in Kenya and you are living in another country, so just make sure that you take that math and you divide it by 130. So if you are doing it like that, you'll be able to get a minimum of 5,000 Kenyan shillings. Instead of you investing in an MMF, you have invested your money in an MMF. It looks low risk, it looks fancy, but the amount of money you are getting at the end of the day is only 500 Kenyan shillings. Imagine you getting only 500 Kenyan shillings after investing 20,000 Kenyan shillings in 1 month. So if you want to multiply your wealth at a very faster rate, what would you choose? Just comment down below. Will you decide to use the MMF, or will you decide to use the poultry farming business? Because if you are doing the poultry farming business, that means that you will get that money at a very faster rate. And in any kind of business, the real essence of our business is the profitability part of it. So you want to start any kind of business, so as it can enable you to grow your market and grow your net worth and your financial portfolio very, very fast. We don't want you to be doing such kind of a thing. For example, you're investing millions of money in a certain MMF and you're not getting the value out of your money. Because if you decide, let's say you have decided, yes, you have invested a lot of money in that MMF. Let's say you have invested that, even if you invest 100,000 Kenyan shillings, do you know a person who has invested 20,000 Kenyan shillings in poultry farming, and you who has invested 100,000 Kenyan shillings in an MMF, that person who has invested that 20,000 Kenyan shillings in poultry farming is going to make more money than you. The only place that maybe you can be around each other, getting around the same amount, is if you have invested almost 10 times of what he would have invested in poultry farming. So what if you, as a farmer, you have decided that you have invested 10 times, 20,000 times 10 of what that guy would have invested in the MMF? Yes, it is low risk. Maybe you're talking about the poultry house. Yes, here I've said all factors are held constant. When you're raising around 100 chicks, you can raise it in any place whatsoever. So it doesn't matter about when you're talking to us about the poultry house. That is an initial investment. but you can do a poultry house that is very, very affordable. And that is where I come in. I can be able to give you a good quotation whereby you'll be able to construct an affordable poultry house, so as it can enable you to get money out of the venture. Because even if you decide that you have invested 200,000 Kenyan shillings and you're using like 70 to 100,000 Kenyan shillings to construct the poultry house, you'll still make more money. Even if you invest 100,000 Kenyan shillings, you'll still make more money than a person who has invested 200,000 Kenyan shillings in an MMF. So in this kind of world, most people usually don't know how they can make money. They usually think in the old traditional way of how you can make money. I know most people live in an urban setup and they want to make money living comfortably, but if you only want to make a lot of money in the MMF, you must have like over 10 million, even not a million. A million is small money still. You need up to 10 million Kenyan shillings, so as you can invest in that MMF, so as it can make sense to you, so as you can make a little bit of more money in it. So in any kind of business, guys, as I am telling you, you have to be able to do your math. Okay? If you're able to do your math, then it will enable you to understand if doing such a kind of business really makes sense. And you doing, for example, for the poultry farming, it keeps you busy. You don't have just to stay there and say, oh, my money is growing in my bank account. You have to have over 10 million Kenyan shillings, so as it can enable you to make sense while investing in the MMF. But if you have less than that, then you'll just be wasting your time. You won't be able to make a lot of money out of this venture. So guys, just be wise. If you want to make money in this world, try doing poultry farming. If you're able to do poultry farming and you have invested that huge amount of money as of what I've talked about, then what will be holding you back from you becoming the next billionaire? Yes? For example, as I usually say, I started with only 50 chicks. Okay? If I started with 50 chicks, then I've been able to grow up to whereby I can be able to hatch 4,000 to 5,000 chicks each week. Imagine that. If I've been able to grow a venture up to that point, then what is holding you back from starting also a business? It has only taken me 5 years, and you know, five years to grow from that base, but I started like 8 years ago. I have gotten all that experience. You know, sometimes I got losses because I never knew what to do, but I am here for you, so as I can help you also grow. Okay? So if I'm available to help you grow, why aren't you using this opportunity? Because the biggest problem that I had is that I was getting a lot of losses because I never knew what to do. I never had a mentor. So everything I learned it through experience. And experience is very, very expensive. So you as a farmer, why do you also want to learn everything through experience? And yet you can find a solution to such a problem whereby other people experience the problem. Okay? Experience is very, very expensive. Don't let yourself fall into the trap whereby you want to learn everything through experience. Because if you fall into the trap whereby you want to learn everything through experience, then you won't be able to grow in any kind of business. That's why you hear most people are fearing poultry farming and they are wasting their money in the MMF. Those markets whereby you're investing your money, those markets never get any losses. It's you who will be wasting your time and your future generational wealth, which you can create somewhere else. Poultry farming is a product that you can dispose of. So it's not like a rental, for example, that you have placed it in a place and you're saying, oh, what will I do? You can dispose of poultry. You can do it in a span of 5 years, get a lot of money and put it somewhere else. Then you can put it in your MMF. You have to have gotten like over 10 million. But if you have gotten only like 500,000, 20,000, 30,000 or 50,000 Kenyan shillings, put that money in poultry farming. Then it will enable you to grow. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.